Alright guys, so today we're going to be doing something a little different. Basically, long story short, I want to get into the actual aspect of fabrication and design work and stuff. Like, I've been working on cars and bolting parts on, rebuilding engines and stuff for a long time, and about as in-depth as I've gotten is rebuilding an engine, because there is a lot to that. But other than that, I've never really been able to fabricate or design stuff. I've had minimal experience, like, making a gauge cluster panel or something like that, but I haven't ever like designed a tube front or a cage or like custom brackets or anything like that. So what I decided to do is finally take a step in that direction, and let me show you what I got. So I picked up a 3D printer from Profound 3D. This is a CraftBot Plus. Now I chose this printer because it's super capable out of the box. I don't have to like do a lot of modifications to it and tinker with it a ton. Stock is reliable, as I always say, and pretty much this will do just about anything I want it to do stock. There might be some upgrades down the road. I have a Raspberry Pi that I'm going to add to it, which will just let me like control it from my computer or pretty much anywhere I can access the Raspberry Pi, like my phone, whatever. So yeah, I got this from Profound 3D. Awesome company, great guys to work with, very, very, very helpful, great tech support, all of that. I really also like the look of it. I think it looks really good. That's part of one of the reasons why I picked this particular model. So anyway, that's the first step. I've already printed a handful of things, one of them being this hub adapter for a 6-bolt to a Logitech G27. I'll put the link below for this file in case any of you guys need this for yourself. Really nice setup. I like the way it came out. So what we're going to be doing is designing basically a new angle mod bracket for the Corvette instead of it having to be built and welded and all that. It's something that'll be CNC-able. So what we're going to do first is 3D print the design that we have, that we've been working on, to make sure everything fits and whatnot. Because if you were to CNC something before you knew if it fit or not, it's going to get really costly if you keep CNCing parts like this and they don't work. So 3D printing is the best way to test stuff like this, or just about anything. I mean, you can also make a lot of stuff with it. We'll get into that later, but for now we're using it just for testing, and here's what we've got. Oh, also, quick side note, I'm finally making merch. This is a shirt. It's me wall tapping. It says "When in Japan," like when in Rome, when in Japan, you wall tap. I thought it was clever. We'll also have hats. This is not the final design. I'm not facetious enough to have Taylor Ray on my thing, so it'll just be like, which side is it on? That logo colored on the front. By the time this video goes up, because I have to wait for this to print and stuff, they might be out yet. I don't know. Who knows? But if they are out, link will be below. If not, they're coming. So here's what we got. So I'm using the Cura software for this just because I'm a lot more familiar with this software. I've used it more frequently than any of the other software that I've used. So the software that's meant for the printer and comes with the printer is really good software. It works great too, but I'm used to this one, so this is the one I use. And the printer is compatible with any software, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get this thing to where it's within the print area. All right, so we've got this thing ready to print. Basically, here's where it's gonna bolt onto the knuckle. This is where the tie rod end is gonna pick up. Same thing as what we had before, just one piece. So it's pretty simple. Save to removable drive, eject, pull this USB out, pop it in here, USB print. This is it right here. Done. So it's gonna warm up and start printing. All right, so let's go ahead and get this printed.
Done. Now let's go test fit it.
So today we have some larger front spacers to install because, as you can see, the wheel was grinding on the control arm, so we need to space it out just a little bit more. We have a 25 on there now. We're going to a 35. We have shortened tie rods because they were maxed out before and I still had toe out. We've got fixed versions of the angle mods. They're just beefed up. Should hold together, no problem. And then we're gonna have one CNC'd eventually, and this is the test one as you saw earlier, which matches up. obviously, to that. So that's the plan for today. We're gonna put one of these on. We're gonna get the inner tie rods on first. It's gonna be the hardest part, and we'll go from there. You have a big adjustable wrench?
What?
You have a big adjustable wrench?
Yeah.
Can I borrow it? Alright, so we've got the front sway bar out, so when we put the angle mods back on, we can test and see what changing up the end link location or sway bar location would do to add an angle. And so we can actually get to this inner tie rod. Oh, of course I can't get a cheat over this. Let me hold the piece up. You got him? You got him. Right. So while I've got all this apart, I'll show you guys that that is the max angle I will ever be able to get with stock control arms. Well, actually, I could probably get like 2 more degrees, but this is why. So you've got the caliper here. I don't know if you can see this. Basically, the caliper hits the control arm there. This part just barely makes it over, but this part hits where it's bolted on and everything. And that's right by the actual knuckle itself. So the only way around that is custom control arms, which I feel like you wouldn't even get a whole ton more there. So we'll see what it's like with the sway bar off, and if this is our limiting factor or the sway bar is the limiting factor, and then go from there. But we got to get it all back together first. So I'm just gonna put this here. Alright, so we got the knuckle adapter back on this side, new tire on it and everything in. We're going to wait to bolt it on until we get the other side on so we can kind of eyeball line it. So we're going to jump to the other side now. Alright, so this is the 3D printed angle mod that we're going to test. I already see one issue, which is going to be this ABS wire. I already checked. You can just take this connector off this bracket and then we could like relocate it somewhere. So that's not really an issue. So we're just going to check for general fitment. Alright, so as far as fitment goes, it looks like this is going to have to be a little bit thinner because it's touching up here, which is preventing it from sitting flat. Also, we made the recessed portion of this hole a lot thicker. So now I can't get the bolt to thread in, so we're going to need to make sure that's not as thick as it is, because we made it like 12 millimeters instead of like 4. Me and my coworker did that before we printed this. So yeah. We'll have to redo this another time, retest another time, but this is why you don't make something out of billet first and you just 3D print it, because then you know whether or not it's going to work, and now we know. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and knock this side out and get everything set up, and then we'll be able to see how much range we have with the sway bar disconnected. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so it doesn't even look like the sway bar will cause much of an effect here. I think it's like pretty close, but seems like the caliper is going to hit first. Let's see. Alright, with the sway bar back on, it does appear that it is not the sway bar causing the issue. As you can see, there's still room between the tire and the sway bar. It is the brake caliper back here that cannot fit, and that is the problem. So that's that. Knuckles are back on. I'm gonna swap the spacers on, put the tires on, and try to eyeball line it now. Woo! Also, I have new tires. Those are going on probably tomorrow. I'll make a video specifically on how to mount a tire, since you guys have seen me do that so much, but I've never really explained it super well, and whatever else happens tomorrow. But so don't judge me for the fact that these are completely bald and corded on the inside. And maybe alignment tomorrow, hopefully. So let's get this thing wrapped up. Okay, so they don't poke much more than before. I'm going to be putting a 245. These are 245s on here, so that with a little bit of camber should bring me back inside of the wheel well, which is all I really want. Toes a little off, but we'll have to readjust that at a later date. See how much angle she gets. Alright, so we're back to having some decent steering angle. Pretty much just like it was before. What this has made me realize that the only real option is to either move the brake caliper up and get a tiny bit more. Really the only option to get more angle than this would be control arms. So we're going to keep driving like this with the handbrake, and it should be enough. Like this is more than what my car has in Japan, or probably about the same. And it was fine. I think this is even about what like Adam's car in Japan has. Maybe a little less. I don't know. Oh man, I am beat. It was a long day of doing angle mods. It was so rainy and then so humid and typical Florida. Sun's out now though, that's good. So that's pretty much it. Obviously the angle mod wasn't exactly perfect. The 3D printer when we tested, there's a couple little things we're gonna do, and then I can retest it. And then once we finalize that, we can have it 3D printed. For now, these should work just fine. They're just like what I had before, just beefed up. So yeah, that's that. Glad I got to show you guys like the 3D printing thing, and I really want to get into design work and fabricating stuff, just for my own stuff. Like I want to be able to build really cool projects like that guy, 3D Magic Mike. I don't know if you guys seen his build, I'll link it below. It's phenomenal. I want to get into doing stuff like that eventually, but I know nothing, so I'll learn. You guys will learn with me. I don't know, it'll be cool. So yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure to check out Paul, Delinquent Industries. He's the one who made these lovely angle mod brackets. Awesome guy for actually tackling this project and not just like saying he would and then not doing it like everybody else that did. So he actually did it, and that's awesome. So shout out to him, does good work. And yeah, okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I will see you next time. Bye.